Kansas Fellowship family, thank you so much for joining us for this first video connected with Will's message from Sunday on God's wisdom for healthy relationships. And what we want to talk about a little bit more today is his last point, how church is the Christian's ultimate family. And that's really good news for everybody, but I think it's really a special thing for singles to kind of really know about this, have this at the forefront of their mind, because we're all made for love and connection, and we just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, what that means for single people.
The ultimate family for any Christian, single or married, is the body of Christ, and that you can find brothers if you are female, you can find sisters if you're a male, and if you're a single person, take advantage of these relationships that you could have with married people that could really be amazing mentors in your life. Having dinner together, sharing life, encouraging each other, praying for each other, especially as we go through hard times, we really need to pull together. Sometimes we tend to segment it away. Single people stay with single people and married people stay with married people, but I really believe we need to be crossing those lines, spending time together.
Yes, and we've talked a lot about, we're getting older, our kids are growing up. We love it when someone says, hey, do you want to, have coffee or go to lunch, or can I come over and be with your family? Like a young person, we love bringing them into our home, and, we want to do this more. We've done it some in the past, but just be bold. Like if you see a family at church, if you're serving with someone, that's older or married, has, any stage in life, and you're like, man, I really like them. I'd like to learn from them or get to know them better. Be bold to ask, because we have a lot of really kind people, and I just feel like from the way we feel in our experience that someone would love to bring you in.
Absolutely. And one of the theme verses that really shows us that this is the kind of love we ought to have for each other is in 1 John chapter 3, verse 16. Now this isn't John 3:16, this is 1 John 3:16. And it says, this is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters, that there ought to be some self-sacrificial connection with each other, taking time out of our busy schedules to be together, connect with one another, and get out of our comfort zone and connect with people who have a slightly different stage of life than we do. Now, we want to share with you 5 great things to look for in a lifelong partner. And this is stuff to look for not only in someone that you could spend your life with, but also things that we ought to be developing in our own life too. And these are 5 things taken from Jonathan Pokluda's book, Outdated, right? And great book, wonderful stuff there. If you're a single person, you might want to check out that book. But we wanted to give you these 5 points that are taken from 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. And I'm going to share this verse with you and then turn it over to Leslie to jump into some of these points. But in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, it says, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. And how many of you know that when you are young, you are also single, right? We all start off single when you're young, but set an example, he says. Set an example for believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and purity. So these are these 5 things, and we would like to unpack them for you.
Yeah, and I would say, so if you're looking for someone to date or marry, ask these questions that we're about to share with you, of their character, but also these are great self-discipleship questions. Ask yourself these questions. Yes. To meet with a group or a friend or a small group of friends. Ask each other these questions, because these are just good life things. And the first one, I think that verse in Timothy said speech was the first one. So what comes out of their mouth? Because what comes out of their mouth is an overflow of what's in their heart. So is it positive or negative? Are they kind or mean? Are they thinking and dreaming about good things or just about, selfish things? Just kind of listen and weigh their speech.
That's right, because a lot of times what comes out of somebody's mouth is a reflection of their heart, Jesus said. And here's the next one. How do they act? And I would say even more specifically, how do they act towards people in the service industry? Like a servant or a server at a restaurant, or someone who is a janitorial staff at some place that they go, or whatever. Someone who would be in a service role to them. How do they treat that? Do they treat them like a human being, or do they treat them like someone who is their servant? So I would just say, really pay attention to how they act. Is there anything you wanted to add to that? Or?
I would just say also, are they lazy? Like, are they kind of, oh, I have no goals and I'm just gonna coast? Or do they have like goals and dreams and purpose? Like, are they living out their purpose that God put them here, to do? So I think that's maybe another little part of it too.
Absolutely. Here's the next one. What do they love? What are they passionate about? What are they kind of like purpose and goal, like meaning in life? What do they talk about that their love, the affection of their heart seems to be attached to? That is a really important thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, you kind of think about, and I don't remember exactly where the verse is, but when Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So you can kind of tell what they love by what they're talking about, what they're spending their time on, what they're doing. Even like if they love the Lord deeply, are they spending time with Him? Are they going to church? Are they seeking out Christian community? Or is it all about video games? Or is it all about their favorite sports team? Or, money? Or you just kind of listen for what's the deepest desire, most important desire of their heart. Because, of course, you're going to have other interests and fun, superficial things. But like the core of their biggest love, kind of listen for what that is.
And like you said earlier, the lion's share of where we're spending our time, what do we love too? I think it's important to ask ourselves that question, like, where is most of my money and time and energy and effort spent? When I do get some free time, am I straight on my phone? Am I like spending hours and hours consumed in social media apps? Any app that is monetizing your attention, be careful of, all right? Because it will consume all of your extra, anything you have to give. And so just being careful where your affections are being attached, because you get to pick where those go. So
that's really good.
All right.
Yeah,
thank you. That's really good. It's good to think about for us and for the other person. Okay, so here's the next question. Are they living out their faith? It's a great question.
So I think it's kind of a difference in, are they trying to act good or act nice or check off all the boxes so, you look real good? Or is it like, I'm running everything through the filter of what would God want for me to do? Or how would He want me to treat this person? Or, decisions that are made, even just like small daily decisions, like we were talking about earlier, of time spent and things like that. Just that, is that like a vital part of their life?
Right.
Or is it just like maybe a show or surfacey or?
That's right. Is there faith? Is it something that directs their decision making? How does their faith play into decisions? Not even major life decisions, but even just kind of medium to minor life decisions. Is the way of Jesus and incorporating Him as Lord into their life, is it something that's regular? Now, I understand everybody's in different places in their discipleship, but it should be something that they're growing in. Like, I want to become more mindful of, more present with the Lord throughout the day. And that should be a goal that for you and for the person that you are considering to link your life with. Okay, so here's the next question. Are they pursuing purity? It's a great question.
Yeah, and I think the big thing with this question is, are their desires surrendered to Christ, to what He would want for them, what is good and right for them, or are you just kind of going with a feeling, like I feel this way, so I'm going to do this thing, and that's kind of your leader rather than being really intentional about choosing what's right and good.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think a lot of young single people forget about is that pursuing purity while you're single and while you're dating and or engaged is so powerful, how it spills over and it plays into if there is a future marriage. We've seen this so much that couples that later struggle with infidelity and adultery typically had a hard time or did not practice any self-control sexually while they were single. And if they didn't pursue purity sexually when they're single, it's very, very difficult later to say, okay, now we're going to have the muscle and the strength to say no to our sexual urges when we're tempted later. So I just want to encourage you to think about it like that by saying no and learning how to practice purity now will actually protect you. God will use it as a strength for your family and for your marriage and for whatever He has for you in the future. It will only play to your good, to a good result and for a blessing for your life for later.
And
so
I just this dawned on me and kind of thought about when you were talking, we have talked so much about just exercising that self-control.
Yeah.
Like, are you in a pattern of exercising self-control? Or are you in a pattern of just, not, I guess, just going with whatever. So I think that's a big part of it too. And that the covenant of marriage is meaningful to you and you want to stay inside those boundaries.
Yes.
And that will carry you through in the future.
Yeah. Well, we hope this has been an encouragement to you guys. We love you. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And also next week, look for more bonus video material to follow this Sunday's message. We'll see you guys then. God bless you. Have a great week.